Well, Brett, thank you so much for taking the time
You're
to
welcome.
come
Thanks for
over
having me.
and interview. And I wanted to learn a little bit about you. I think everyone in town sees your signs and they hear the name, and so it's good to get to know a little bit about you. So,
Thank you.
where'd you grow up, and what brought you to Boulder City?
I actually spent most of my growing up years here in Boulder City. Came here when I was still in elementary school from Indiana. So good Midwestern roots, but came here when my dad had some job opportunities and wanted to escape the snow. I realized later snow as a kid is fun, but as an adult I don't think I'd like living back there. But so I guess that was 6th grade, and been around ever since. And he had a job as a millwright and traveled around the West, but we stayed here, and he did a fair amount of traveling with his job. But we got to open the Garrett Middle School. I was in that first year that it was open, and went on to Boulder City High School.
Oh, very nice. So how did you get into real estate then?
After graduating from Boulder City, I went on to UNLV, and I was a business major, and I had a friend that was in the appraisal business, and it sounded interesting. So I took an appraisal class while I was at UNLV, and I went for a job interview with a former mayor of Boulder City named Bob Boston. He owned Desert Sun Realty. I was 20 and a sophomore at UNLV, and I went to interview for a position there, and he decided that maybe I'd do better as a realtor than as an appraiser, and that was the beginning of something to change my life, obviously. So I went ahead and finished out my years at UNLV. I had a graduate assistantship and stayed on and got my MBA, and so I was at UNLV during some good years. We won our national championship in basketball while I was there. Haven't won one since I was there, so I'm sure. But with that, I finished my master's degree, did some job interviews, and by that time I'd had my real estate license for 4 years, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working for myself, I enjoyed working with people, helping people, and decided I would give it a try full time. So I had never really put all of my effort into it, but as I was going through school, school was always my priority. And after I graduated, I jumped in with both feet, and it kind of took off from there. So that was in the early 90s. But I've had my real estate license for 30 years now, and been active that long here in Boulder City. But I bought the company that I started with probably around 95, somewhere around there.
Why? So you moved from when the time you went full time to the time you bought the company was
3 years,
quick.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've only worked at Desert Sun Realty. That's the company I've always been with since I was 20 years old.
Now, I wanted to ask because everyone knows your phone number. It's
Right.
the easiest number to remember.
Right?
Did it come with the business?
Funny story there. When I started back in that day, everything was about faxing. We faxed offers, faxed agreements. It was faxing. We didn't do email at that time. And our phone number was 293-2151. And the interesting thing was this 293-0000 was our fax number. I know. I never could understand that. So that was one of the first things I did, was take that out of the fax. I kept getting fax beeps for years after that, people trying to send faxes, but that to me was a no-brainer. And so anyway, swapped the number right away. And I even picked up 293-0001 years later. Funny story, I still have that number too. So I have the first 2 numbers in Boulder City. But the problem was it's very similar to a local veterinarian's office who has 294. So I've kept getting phone calls for the vet on that
Oh,
line.
okay.
So don't use that one very much.
Oh, very nice.